Hi friends, I'd like to talk to you about the no-knock search warrant and the value of the no-knock search warrant. If we haven't had the chance to connect, my name's Rick Live. I'm running for the 11th Congressional District, and I have 24 years with the Will County Sheriff's Office, 14 and a half of those years spent serving on a SWAT team. And so I have a little bit of a different background in this area and a different, maybe a unique perspective, and that's really what I want to share with you. First, let's talk about a no-knock search warrant. What is a no-knock search warrant? A no-knock search warrant is exactly what it sounds like. It's a search warrant where law enforcement does not have to identify themselves prior to making entry into a residence. So in any kind of search warrant, the police have to identify themselves, it's called a knock and announce, prior to making entry into a residence. In a no-knock search warrant, that requirement is removed. They don't have to announce, they don't have to identify themselves, they can just make entry into a residence. What is the value of a no-knock search warrant? Think of it this way. If you have to give bad news, maybe troubling news, to another individual, how would you go about doing it? You can do it any way you want. How would you go about doing it? You would probably pick a time. You would probably pick a date. You would probably pick a location. You would pick a manner of delivery that's most advantageous to you. Why would you do that? Well, because people are funny in the way that they're unpredictable. And you don't know how people are going to react to bad news or troubling news. Now, let's suppose that you wanted to do so in a loving fashion. Well, what would that look like if you're going to do so in a loving fashion? Well, you would want to give bad news, troubling news, and you'd want to pick the best time, date, location, manner of delivery that's most advantageous to you. But you, in a loving way, you would also want to consider that other individual. How could you give this information that would have the greatest chance of minimizing any kind of hurt? Maybe minimizing any kind of embarrassment. How would you go about doing that? You wouldn't give this information while this individual was with other people, right? You wouldn't even, if you had to pick, you wouldn't even call that individual away from others, because if you call them away, that kind of sends off a cue that something is up. You would probably naturally wait till they were away from other individuals. They were by themselves. Also, you wouldn't just hit them with this information. You would kind of slowly ramp up to this information, right? And that's, like I said, best possible circumstances. If you had your pick, you would slowly ramp up to the point that they may not even know this information is coming. And that would, like I say, be the best loving thing that you can do. That's just good tactics. And that's exactly what the police do when they try to get a no-knock search warrant. When they're getting a no-knock search warrant, what they're trying to do is minimize any kind of confrontation. Believe it or not, there are people out there, if given the opportunity, they will hurt the police, they will hurt themselves, they will even hurt other family members or other occupants of their home just to avoid the consequences of their actions, just to avoid being brought to justice. And so to try to minimize that risk, to minimize any kind of confrontation, the police, in their preparation, in their planning of a search warrant, they will determine maybe a no-knock search warrant is best. That will just give the best chance to subdue the individual before there's any kind of confrontation surfaces. Something else you should know. The police do not get to elect for a no-knock search warrant. The police don't just get to decide, this is going to be a no-knock search warrant, this is how we're going to do it. They have to ask for a no-knock search warrant. So any kind of search warrant, they're already working with the state's attorney's office, because any search warrant is going to be worked with in conjunction, some kind of charges that are being brought to the courts. So the police already have to do their planning, and they have to share that with the state's attorney's office. In addition, they have to bring all of that information to a judge. A judge signs the warrant. So the judge is ultimately the one who's giving permission for a no-knock search warrant. So there's a lot of transparency there. It's not that the police are just kind of deciding this. The police have to work with the state's attorney's office. They have to work with the judge in getting a search warrant and a no-knock search warrant. So you see, getting rid of the no-knock search warrant actually hurts people. There's a higher standard that law enforcement has to arrive at to get a no-knock search warrant. So a no-knock search warrant is a very healthy option for everybody involved. It's good for the police, it's good for the individuals, it's good for the citizens. And so we really want to see that the no-knock search warrant stays. I'll tell you, I've been on a lot of no-knock search warrants, and anytime you serve a warrant, there's a meeting, some kind of briefing, and the first words out of whoever's in charge, whoever's running the operation, the first words out of their mouth is going to be, "This is a no-knock search warrant." Just like that, everybody knows there is some other level, there's something extra here, some kind of risk involved. Maybe some extra training the individual has, maybe some weapons on the premises, maybe there's some kind of surveillance tool, something that's happening that we know some kind of confrontation might be prompted. And so that it's very serious, everybody knows it. And so there's a lot involved, a lot of planning that goes into the execution of a no-knock search warrant. Friends, you can help defend the police just by knowing what a no-knock search warrant is. Share this video with your friends. Tell them what it is. Tell them what the value it is. Tell them all the steps that have to be you go through for the law enforcement to get a no-knock search warrant. Share this with your friends and help defend the police. Thank you for watching. My name is Rick Leib for the 11th Congressional District.